Hey, how you doing? We are doing another CinemaWins reaction. I'm actually recording this like the day before my Phantom Menace one goes public, so I don't know how well it's gonna do. Judging by the positive reaction from that community post, I'm assuming it'll do well. But yep. Just wanted to get this out of the way real quick. Because yeah, I did enjoy recording that video a lot. Had a lot of fun with that. So yeah, I figured let's get this next one out of the way. For some reason, I was wondering what should I do next, and I didn't think about it immediately. I should do Inside Out. Like that seems too obvious the more I think about it. Inside Out is by far my most viewed video on all of YouTube. Like it has almost 80,000 views, which I legit didn't see coming. Like I think that video is the reason I have over 2,000 subscribers now. So, yep. Obviously, thank you guys for watching that, and yep, we're gonna react to CinemaWins' Inside Out video, which I have seen, but I haven't seen in a long time. So, yep, we're not much else to say. Let's get into it. Everything great about Inside Out. Spoilers, but you knew that. It's kind of weird of us to put that up there. Like, if you haven't seen Inside Out, like, come on, what's wrong with you?
Having seen this movie a few times now, this score is enough to send me into a full-on ugly cry wailing fit, because the nostalgic music itself now carries the weight of the film with it, and the point is Michael Giacchino is always a win, and he continues to prove it over and over and over. True.
Yep, Michael Giacchino is probably the most, I don't know, I wanted to say underrated, but I don't know if I'd say that anymore, because he did do the Batman a couple years ago, and that score rightfully got praised. But yeah, he's done some amazing work. The Incredibles. He's done a handful of Mission Impossible films. Rogue One. Oh, the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. Like he's done a lot of incredible work, and his work on Inside Out is amazing too. Up and Ratatouille. It's more Pixar movies. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, yep. Just want to get that out of the way.
Or not, I like the assertion that the first emotion we experience as humans is joy, and of course the first.
Yeah, I guess I could. No, I'm thinking about that. I don't know if I believe that. I'm thinking about that now. Like, don't babies cry the first time they come out? Like, that's the first thing they do. Ooh, they're wailing coming out of the mom's womb. So, I'm thinking about that. I don't know if joy is correct. That's the right one. I don't know why that's where my mind went, but yeah. Whatever. Moving on.
First console is just a single button when our emotions are extremely binary and simple.
That I buy.
Making this as brain-like as possible.
That I can buy, yeah.
If you could, I just want to fix that.
Right from the beginning, Joy is trying to push sadness out, which is exactly how our brains work in the beginning. Also, of course, Leslie Knope is the embodiment of happiness. Also can attest that's exactly how a newborn's brain works. Solving the happy-sad flip-flop is pretty much the first week. Ha!
Good to know. Oh, if I ever become a parent, it's good to know.
Mind reader. So many levels.
Oh my gosh. That does say mind reader. How have I seen this movie so many times and I've never noticed that before? Holy, that's amazing. Oh, should I play?
Because
the dang video.
The mind, so it's like the newspaper of the mind, but also they are the mind, so they read minds, and it's what's happening right now. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Those heat waves above Anger's head are an insane detail.
That is. That's the same sound effect that from Boo whenever she would cry and scream. I noticed that from the very beginning how Riley as a kid sounds exactly like Boo, and I know both of them were directed by Pete Docter as well, so I guess that's why.
Can confirm. Jude happens to like broccoli, but he also likes throwing food and screaming loudly. Don't worry.
I'm not a parent yet, but I grew up with a ton of younger siblings, and yep, I can attest to that. The fact that, yep, they can be a bit picky. And I actually don't mind broccoli either that much, weirdly enough. Maybe it's because, I don't know.
This isn't going to turn into a Lee reminiscing about his son while occasionally talking about Inside Out. This movie gives me some feelings, all right? But also
yeah.
very relatable. I've always hated being strapped into my car seat.
Each core memory powers a different aspect of Riley's personality.
You wouldn't think you could write something as obtuse as each core memory powers a part of Riley's personality island and have people easily follow along. Who knew? Ping pong is
You'd be
rocket
wrong.
ship. And a quick happy childhood memories montage is the fastest way to get me tearing up before the title card. I mean, funny visualization, but
The
also
brain
accurate.
freeze.
A brain freeze pretty much makes all cognition stop for a second.
Yeah, I remember seeing Loki, and they kind of addressed that too in one episode. Yeah, like I didn't realize brain freeze is kind of literal. Like it kind of is actually. That's funny.
That's like a really accurate recreation of Lombard Street.
Nobody is dying.
Oh, Luke Doherty, you're probably watching this actually, but yeah, he told me about this. Like this is pretty accurate, and like CinemaWins criticized it in Shang-Chi, and it was like, no, it's stupid. Because, yeah, that's exactly how San Francisco is like. I don't think I've been. I've been to California before, but I don't remember if I've been to San Francisco specifically. Where's Legoland? Because I know. Cause I went to California because Legoland was there. I don't remember where it was. I mean, I'll look it up. Sorry. Where is Legoland in California?
Legoland, California is at 1 Legoland Drive, Carlsbad, California.
Carlsbad?
92008.
Okay, so not San Francisco. All right, moving on.
One thing they can
That looks like Remy, guys.
accurate
Hold on.
recreation of Lombard Street.
Nobody is dying. A dead mouse!
That looks like Remy. Like I think somebody like put a close up on that rat, and he looks exactly like Remy. Bit dark. Like I guess canonically, he went from Paris to San Francisco and died. As a dark theory for you, Matt Pat, because he always does really dark theories for no reason.
One thing they capture so well is how emotions can be freaking out on the inside, but as we get older, even 11, we learn to have measured responses. And how your
Yeah,
emotions
that's
can be
true.
totally chaotic, fighting for control of how you're feeling. Hey,
Yeah.
Pet collector. And is that supposed to be Arlo's tail?
Yeah.
Nice little continuity between the mind world and the real world, with the camera following the same arc and velocity in both.
I was thinking more like rain.
Personally, I identify more with sadness at this point. I love the rain. Really makes you want to stay home curled up with a good book. Philicisms aside, I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way, but this movie still doesn't alienate me, which I give it credit for.
It
Yeah.
helps me slow down and obsess over the weight of life's problems.
There's your takeaway.
It's like the older I've got, the more I relate to sadness. It's kind of fun. It's kind of sad. No, I did not mean. I said that out loud. I immediately realized it was a pun. I didn't even mean that, guys. I swear this isn't scripted. Anyway.
In a nutshell, that Joy cannot understand. Right there, 15 minutes in.
Lucky
Yep.
via channel subgrouping.
See? Fun already. Oh, you lucky dog.
So I know this is a pretty good use of these actors, but it's got me thinking. Instead of separate Parks and Rec and The Office reunions, what if they did them together? We already know Phyllis, Kelly, and Leslie work well together. Even Ann/Karen was in there.
We're a total fraud. Do you think they can see through us?
Of course not. We're wearing eyeshadow.
This house stinks. Our room stinks.
Pizza is weird
Our
here.
friends are back home.
And all of our stuff is in the missing van.
I love how, even though each emotion occasionally expresses emotions outside their purview, generally their concerns are related to who or what they are. And the design of the emotions is amazing. They're not exactly corporeal. They more seem to be made up of light particles, and specifically with Joy, she's constantly leaving a sparky trail behind her. Stunning, really.
Yeah. I don't remember. I have seen his Inside Out 2 video. I don't remember if he mentions it, but I think I noticed the detail that Joy in the second movie, like in this movie, she's glowing all the time, basically, but in the second one, she isn't. And that's probably that could probably like be a cool representation of like, you know, she says in that movie, like, maybe this is what happens when you grow up, you feel less joy. And maybe the fact that she doesn't glow in the second movie is supposed to represent that. Like, she gets less joyful the older she gets. So, I just thought I'd point that out, yeah.
I can keep smiling. It would be a big help. We can do that for him, right?
It ends up being something so simple that's the catalyst for this entire movie. An amazing statement about how impactful just asking your child to force an emotion can be.
Mom and Dad?
Oh, man, just thinking about that. Like, the mom is trying to do the right thing. She thinks she's doing the right thing here, but she's actually kind of harming her by telling her just to be joyful all the time. Yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, I've heard parenting is hard, so yep.
With us in public? No, thank you. Yeah, I'm on it. Nope, I'm fine.
Ha, love the impulse to be disgusted, which will grow with age. But the excitement about a new school and new day are too powerful at this stage in life. I really like that this is painted as something outside of Riley's control.
Yes.
Since emotions can sometimes feel like that, especially as a kid. A traumatic experience.
Yeah, it is. That feels so realistic the way they do it. It just breaking down emotionally, and it feels like you're not able to control that. Oh my gosh, just thinking about that. Like, yeah, they got that down so right.
Experience like crying in front of your class on the first day at a new school could literally make you forget who you are and go into a complete panic shutdown mode. Not to mention it only dawning on Riley at this very moment that part of her life is over now, making her question who she is now outside of Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
That is depressing. Glad I didn't go to public school for a while. I was homeschooled for a while, so yep.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
And when there's no joy, it's hard to even pretend. It's all sarcasm, though. And the decorating difference between the mom's laid-back command center versus the dad's militarized one. Cliche, but fun. It's also a hint as to what's coming, since the mom's center emotion is sadness and the dad's is anger. A statement that maybe joy leading your emotions is only for children?
Maybe. Oh, this is a sad moment. Yeah.
Fourth time through, whether letting go of your childish goofiness is a necessary part of growing up or not, this still absolutely destroys me.
Yeah.
My wife, too. As parents watching our son's life go by way too fast, and as children who remember when our own goofball islands were crushed. And again, this score is stabbing me in the existential dread part of my brain.
That's stupid ad. I'm muting the ad. Yeah, holy cow, just thinking about that. I always get sad thinking about that too, because it's like,
Wait, Joy.
just I feel like childhood might be the best part of your life, honestly, because you're not like concerned about so many things. You're just having fun, and you have to grow up and not do that. Yep.
Crushed. And again, this score is stabbing me in the existential dread part of my brain.
Yep.
Hey, Joy, you could get lost in there.
Think positive.
Okay. Positive, you'll get lost in there. Yep, that.
Optimism. I mean, positivism.
I mean, go left. I said left. It
That's a made up word. Old Wood's a made up.
was right, like correct.
Okay.
And while Phyllis is yucking it up, Chiquino's score is still playfully, quietly making us feel all the things.
This actually feels kind of nice.
Also, silver linings.
You know what? Save chopsticks and heart and soul get rid
Oh
of
my.
us.
Screw you, brain. No one has to remember
Oh
chopsticks.
man.
But another accurate.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh. Just the amount of things I've memorized for no reason, and they're just gone now. Yeah. Just the piano lessons too. I used to play piano a lot, and now I don't. Like, I used to try and learn piano. My mom taught me, and now I barely remember it. And I think the only thing I can remember playing on the piano is the main Star Wars music. Like, I can play. One time I went back to my parents' house and I played the Star Wars theme on it. I can still do it. I still remember it, but that's the only piano thing I can actually remember. So yep, all that wasted. Like, years of academy training wasted.
Generosity. Also, nothing is
Yeah,
ever more
that's
accurate
always
than
funny.
My brain bounces back and forth between $5 footlong and the best part of waking up. Oh, and also some ladders and scaffolds company. They may take you higher, but I don't remember the company name, so.
Yeah. Yep, and for me it was Baby Shark, which is why I put that at the end of that video, or of my video. Yep. It's probably another song. I don't remember what other song I'm thinking of. Maybe Let It Go. It's not as annoying anymore. I'll say that. Actually, probably Can't Stop the Feeling. Yeah. Rewatched Trolls for that DreamWorks tier list that I'm still working on, and yep, did not like hearing that song because I've heard that song so many dang times.
This time, the Personality Island destruction is just plain epic. Also, that wide shot of the memory stacks from afar looking like brain matter. Attention to detail.
Cool.
Oh,
Oh yeah, there it is.
I also love the visualization of some memories being unsorted or loose as a possible explanation for why it's hard to recall some things you would usually know.
Diversion!
Oh man. So much like, yes, that's relatable at all. Oh man. I'm pausing just because of how much I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's so relatable. Like I experienced that. Like dang, these Inside Out movies are so freaking good at that. Okay, yeah, ingenuity, because Bing Bong, try distracting joy. Yeah.
Ingenuity.
gotta remember, when Riley was 3, animals were all the rage. Cow goes moo, the horse goes neigh.
Can confirm. Animal lessons.
Yeah, it's like the first thing kids were taught for some reason. Yep.
Danger, shortcut.
And spelling lessons. Even in the abstract Crazy Town room, things make sense. Joy is basically rays of sunshine, sadness is just a blue blob, and Bing Bong is Dr. Seuss? And if you
Sure.
listen to the audio, it appropriately changes with the visuals, going from surround in 3D to just front speakers in 2D,
Oh.
and then mono for abstract.
This isn't another one of your shortcuts, is it?
Yeah!
Hey, look, the house of cards.
Is that where Kevin Spacey's hiding? Also, pretty sure your dad already found it.
Yeah, fine. I think that was like Finding Dory came out the next year, I think. And also Dinosaur World, like that's for Good Dinosaur, I believe.
Found you? So, yeah. If we take this situation literally, there's no way she can play hockey because the memory and connected personality trait is gone. But if you stretch just a tad, the emotional turmoil she's gone through the past few days would definitely make focusing on hockey pretty tricky. And once I embarrass myself for the second time in front of new people, I'm bailing. Angrily.
It's sad.
Yeah. Makes me glad too, like, oh, I'm not the only one who goes through this kind of stuff, you know? Yeah.
I'm okay now.
I actually appreciate how stubborn Joy continues to be. Even in the face of Sadness's success, she can't see past her own importance, much the way we treat the necessity of being happy.
These facts and opinions look so similar.
Don't worry about it. Happens all the time.
Take that, tribalistic political party members!
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that. And I'm thinking back to my Toy Story 4 video, just the amount of people that tried commenting saying that that movie is objectively bad. And it's like, oh my gosh, guys, like, stop it. Like, facts and opinions, like, yeah, it's annoying liking movies because so many people try to say factually something is bad. And it's like, you know, art is subjective, you know that? Yeah.
Go back to Minnesota and make more. Ta-da!
Wait. You're saying we run away?
Sure, it's Anger's idea, but he only thought of it because Fear was trying to run away.
Remind you of how great things were there.
Yeah, that's-
Our room, our backyard, our friends.
That's a really good joke. That makes me jealous. I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's a good one, Lee.
Paramount Arch, which is not Disney or Pixar, obviously, and that's an Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo poster, which was produced by Paramount. They're gonna claim this video, aren't they?
Huh, wonder what that means. Oh well, let's go in.
Well, it's just a fun gag that Bing Bong can't read. It's also in line since he was created by a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
What a fun idea. Since these people don't exist inside your mind, just your projection of them onto your own subconscious. Blobs.
What is this place?
The subconscious.
Ha! Because it's below the subterranean conscious.
Ah.
So we all have a creepy birthday clown sleeping deep in our subconscious?
I wonder if it's Pennywise for me. Well, it's like Pennywise isn't that scary, but you know.
I've heard it likes birthday.
Oh, he even does it. Yeah, he even makes the Pennywise joke too.
And floating.
She took it.
Another solid representation of how ideas can manifest. You may feel something would be a good idea, but until you act on it, it's just an idea. Also, did Anger just incept Riley?
There's deja.
He kind of did, didn't he? Yeah. Better use of the word inception than CinemaWins, where they misuse that word a lot to make it sound like it's a thing within a thing. But like, no, it means to implant an idea. That was like the whole plot of the movie Inception. So yeah.
Deja vu. There's critical thinking. There's deja vu.
Nah, just a glitch in the Matrix.
I went sad again, didn't I?
I'll tell you what. We can keep working on that when we get back, okay?
After multiple viewings, Joy starts to get on my nerves, which the irony and purpose of that is not lost on me, but just let sadness be sad.
There's deja vu.
Nah, just a glitch in the Matrix. Another one to give a stretch for a real-world correlation, but have you ever done something you knew was wrong and gotten away with it? Your mind is consumed with it, and hinder all other thoughts, definitely messing with your facts and opinions. Wait, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. Riley needs to be happy.
And another villainization of joy.
Yeah.
Exactly the way our need to be happy can try to force out other necessary emotions.
Do you remember?
Yep. Just thinking back to that, like times I've tried to force out other emotions to focus on something else. Yep.
How she used to stick her tongue out when she was coloring.
Couple things. One, Amy Poehler, you're always a win. Two, I love the simple attention to detail of how she can't wipe the tear off the glass. Ever tried? That's exactly what happens.
Good to know. I've never tried that.
Got a feeling about this one.
It doesn't really matter if you saw it coming, it's still self-sacrifice. A true picture of childhood that we all have to let go of at some point.
Stupid
Digital
ad.
assistants powered
Yep,
by
Bing
Dell
Bong's
AI
death is
Factory
still
with
sad.
NVIDIA.
We all know that. Yep.
But Bing Bong being happy because all he really cared about was Riley? Ugh. And then that's immediately followed up by more existential dread. Do I exist?
He's
What if
been
I'm just someone's
Thanos.
memory? They borrowed some stuff for Coco from this one, huh?
Kind of did, didn't they?
This
Oh,
is the
yes, hold on.
memory. They borrowed some stuff for Coco from this one, huh? A113.
Yes, there it is.
This is the up corner of the brain from that month Riley
Oh yeah, it kind of does look like Carl and Ellie's wedding, doesn't it? Huh.
was obsessed with up, with the couple next to their house and his tie.
Oh yeah, I just saw Carl's tie. Yeah.
And my legs don't work, and you have to drag me around while I touch all the...
Pretty decent Phyllis impression. Just saying. Crossover.
Hey, come back here!
Forget it, Jake. It's Cloud Town.
Seriously, Mr. Giddies, you should know by now. Emotional autopilot equals depression. Well done. Definitely some imaginary resourcefulness.
Yeah.
Disgust just use anger to burn a hole in the glass of Riley's emotional processing center?
Yes.
Just checking.
Yes, that happened.
Please don't be mad.
I miss Minnesota too.
Sincerity that absolutely wrecks me.
Yeah. Yeah, this scene still gets me.
Wow. Talk about catharsis. In past videos, I've said that it's okay to feel things, but this, I doubt anyone can help but feel. In a literal sense, with Sadness being her own character who has been beaten down the entire movie by Joy, reaching out to Joy and still doing what she thinks is best for Riley. And then in the more metaphysical sense of what Riley is actually going through, realizing that sorrow and happiness are not opposites. In one sense, to quote Jason Lee from Vanilla Sky, the sweet is never as sweet without the sour. But in an even more accurate and applicable sense, the joy that comes from experiencing sadness with your family. It's a hard concept to describe. Pixar did it profoundly with 3 images. The console being both blue and yellow, a tearful Riley being embraced by her parents, and a memory colored by both emotions. The mere fact that we do
I don't have anything to add. Yeah, he pretty much got it all. Yeah.
things like read Twilight not because of joy, but just fear and disgust is an interesting concept. Although to be honest, there are still probably a few emotions missing.
Yeah, just wait for the sequel.
And it gets even sadder when you realize that phones and social media are a huge part of our children's personality.
Oh my gosh. I never noticed that. Yeah. Yeah, my phone is still a part of me. Feels like. Yep.
Now the console can accommodate all the emotions at once, so they're not battling for control. Another great visualization of maturing. Also, thanks, Ratzenberger.
All right, here you go.
Yep.
Your new expanded console is up and running.
What's puberty? I don't know. It's probably not important.
Whoa.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now for another, 9 years, I think, in between the first and the second one coming out. Yeah.
The console is done.
Sorry, I did it again.
Button push sensor.
Just in case.
Like I said, fear is currently making up for other missing emotions. Accurate.
That is so accurate.
Disgust is puking, and fear isn't really afraid. Cats.
Yes.
Hey, Ralph was here.
Ralph? Oh.
I have a lot of thoughts and emotions about this film's themes and messages. So
good
many
one.
that I've decided I'm finally going to get around to that Lessons Animation Taught Us video to make Mikey Newman from Movies with Mikey proud. I was going to do a full conclusion and then a whole separate video later on, but as I started writing both together, I realized that I had way too much overlap to explain myself. So with this video's conclusion, I'm just going to talk about more surface level stuff, and don't misunderstand, surface level isn't a dig. Without it, this movie's message loses all weight. So that next video should be done not next week, but probably the week after. Anyway, on with it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. Should I watch that video? Because I remember like looking into CinemaWins' channel. I like saw that Lessons Animation Taught Us Inside Out. I'm wondering, should I? I wonder how long is this video running now? Oh really? We're only at 24 minutes. I might do it. I'm not sure. I'll decide after this is done. All right, let's.
There are a ton of fun details per usual for a Pixar film. The animation style and general attention to detail is astounding. The cotton candy fibers and fur that form Bing Bong, the realistic looking and moving lava, the playing card physics, and the background details you may not consciously notice, like how anger, voiced perfectly by the embodiment of anger itself, Lewis Black, is the typical angry old man of the group and is always reading a newspaper with an applicable headline.
Yeah.
Or the way the inside of Riley's mind reflects her age and what's currently happening. Imagination Land is dusty and deteriorating, while things like the boyfriend generator are brand new looking. Or how often Riley wears the color that represents her emotional state, wrapped in a yellow blanket, wearing a yellow coat. Her initial jersey was possibly a hint of the need for a little joy mixed with aggression when playing hockey, and once she runs away and has no access to her emotions, she's in all black. Even her mom
I love those kind of details.
wears
Yeah.
yellow once they get to San Francisco, since she feels like she has to put on a brave face for her husband and pretend to be happy. Or how other things in the film seem to be color-coded to specific emotions, like the vacuum she's afraid of and the dead Rhett she's disgusted by.
Oh, he pointed out too. I guess I didn't need to. Yeah.
And then I talked about how ethereal the emotions look. It's really highlighted in Joy's solo scenes. Every performance was spectacular. It feels mean to say that Phyllis Smith really plays sadness well, but man, she knocks it out of the park. Bill Hader
I mean, she does, yeah.
continues to astound me.
Yeah.
He's the type of voice actor that disappears into the character. And then
Yeah, it was a shame he didn't come back for the second one. I like the second one. It's really good. But that was one of my only complaints. Like, oh man, like Tony Hale, he's cool and all, but he's no Bill Hader. Like, come on.
And Richard Kind made me feel all the things.
Yeah.
Obviously without Amy Poehler, who, again, such a perfect cast. But without her, you lose the heart of the film. She makes you love and hate her all at the same time.
Yeah.
Everything about this film is absolutely fantastic. Before I even start thinking about what the movie is saying, it's already impressed me quite a bit. And if you want to hear about that, check out my Lessons Animation Taught Us video that will be linked in the description and eventually in the end cards. There's no win counter, but the mere fact that this film has enough going on for another video is worth 25 wins. Plus, I counted things I would have winned and it was another 13 wins, so there you go.
Ooh, 169.
Next week, a serious undertaking.
That's I love the teaser frames too. Oh, this is Infinity War. But yeah, I don't know if I'll react to that, but who knows. Branding. Okay. I'm looking. How long are we at now? 27 minutes. How long is it? 12 minutes. I don't know if I'll pause as often. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? We can go ahead and get that out of the way. Yeah. Okay. Stupid. What was that? Tell you a story. Okay. Cool. Get rid of this stupid ad. And here we go.
It is okay to be sad. On the surface, that's one of the easier messages to take away from Inside Out. A movie where emotions frame the way our brains store memories and influence our daily interactions with the outside world by helping to create our personalities. And the message by the end of the film, spoiler alert, is that it is okay to be sad.
Yes.
We don't start there, though. Inside Out immediately makes an assumption about how we perceive emotions. Sadness is bad. We all want to be happy. Everything sadness touches, it permanently changes, or ostensibly for at least the beginning of the film, ruins. And I guess I can't speak for everyone, but I think most of us just sort of accept that. Nobody wants to be sad, but do we need sadness? Cue the intro. No. That's I don't have. Do we have an intro?
Huh.
No. Okay. Just start the video. Sorry.
Yeah, just go. Some feelings concerning a movie. Okay. I was hard time reading that word for a second.
The year was this year. The month, this month. It was. I just watched Inside Out like for the first time a few weeks ago, and boy, this movie made me feel some things, both as a current father and former child. Nostalgia for when things were binary, happy or sad, and also feeling the weight of helping to shape my son's emotional experience in mind. Whew, I feel some things. And I know this series is supposed to be more about what animation taught us as children, but I don't remember most of my childhood, so this is what's happening. Plus, I'd end up just rehashing Sword in the Stone like Mikey did, because I watched that a bunch. But as an adult, did I feel some things? Which obviously isn't anything new for Pixar. The Toy Story movies are basically big old trips down memory lane, constantly tugging at your nostalgia strings. And for me, not because I grew up with them, I didn't. It's their subject matter, just the idea of no longer needing toys. But while Toy Story looks more broadly at the idea of growing up, Inside Out takes a hard dive into what it means to grow up and how parts of us get stronger while other parts wither or at least have to adapt. But what parts, right? There's an interesting thing that Inside Out touches on, possibly unintentionally, but it structures how I interpret the film and how I allocate agency to the various characters and ideas. It's generally a theological concept, but I think it applies here. Predestination versus free will, or fate versus choice, destiny versus decision. The entire film plays with the idea of who is actually in control. Are her actions just predetermined by her emotions, or are the emotion characters responding to her choices? And I would venture that both Riley and her emotions are running things. It's this infinite loop of, well, Riley is making that decision even though Joy is the one that reminded her of a particular memory. Joy only did so because Riley wanted to feel that way. Everything that happens in the film is Riley's brain reacting to outside stimulus in order to protect or simply interpret how it affects her. And I realize this may seem a little, well, duh, it's her brain, it's all the same thing.
Yeah, obviously.
But I think it makes a compelling statement about the importance and control we give our emotions. These nebulous, hard to define feelings, yearnings, moods, sometimes actual physical manifestations. When I feel happy, I get that chemical rush of endorphins. I don't make that happen, my brain does. So creating emotions as their own distinct characters in this story is a great way of relating how most of our brains work. To that effect, I would go so far as to say that joy and sadness being sucked out of headquarters is very much Riley's brain's way of dealing with trauma. In that context, nothing happening inside her head is an accident or by chance. It's all just a representation of the different parts of Riley's personality trying to cope with life. So, when I talk about Joy, I'm speaking about Joy, the wholly unique character voiced by Amy Poehler, Joy, the conceptual emotion, and Joy, Riley's general desire to be happy. It's not nearly that confusing, but I'd rather not have to specify what or who I'm talking about each time, because for me, it's all three, all the time. We on the same page? Good.
Sure, yeah. The sadness conundrum.
And you've been sad.
Sorry.
Unchecked, there's no place for her to go, so...
So far, agreeing with a lot of what he's
At the
saying.
beginning of the film, Joy tries her best to get rid of sadness, but she won't go away for obvious reasons. But right from the start, sadness is treated more like a glitch than a part of a healthy emotional construct. That's something that's so significant, especially in the age of the YouTube personality. I don't consider myself a YouTuber because I don't have to sit here and sell you happiness, nor could I. While the point of my channel is celebrating film, I like to think I'm honest about what films make me feel. It's honestly been a struggle when considering certain films, especially anything based on a true story. But Inside Out was a good example of it's a feel-good movie overall, but the actual emotions I'm left with are really that yellow and blue ball rolling down the memory ramp.
Yeah,
Happiness with a
pretty
twinge
much.
of
Me too.
melancholy, or profound sadness with a warm, euphoric glow at the center. I don't know which, somewhere in between, varying second to second. But the point is, plenty of more public YouTube personalities have spoken about the pressure to be happy and how impossible it is to be happy 24/7. It's ruined relationships and ultimately tends to lead to burnout. And as Inside Out points out, it's ignoring a huge part of what makes us complex beings. Something that I believe happens at an early age. No one wants to be sad, but without it, how could you ever experience empathy or even sympathy? Sadness shapes much of how we connect to the outside world. A little tangent is that I had quite a few comments from people on my Everything Great About Inside Out video that said Inside Out really didn't land with them because they don't understand emotion, either because they fall somewhere on the spectrum or just don't have a strong sense of emotion. And I wouldn't want anyone in that position to think that I'm saying you can't relate to the outside world. Obviously you do. I would be curious to know if this movie helped clarify things you didn't fully understand, or if
I would
it was
hope
just
so.
complete gobbledygook. But from what I understand,
hope so,
empathy can be learned on an intellectual level, so emotions are not the end-all be-all.
Leaps of consciousness, okay?
Anyway, the way I see the film presented is that sadness, or accepting that things can be sad, is a form of maturing. When Riley is little, most everything is colored by joy. Every core memory that forms Riley's personality is happy.
It's all yellow.
To touch memories and thinking she's
Having a breakdown.
is really just Riley growing up. She's beginning to question the world around her in new ways. Things like embarrassment and shame stop rolling off your shoulders as you enter adolescence and the teenage years. And then it comes back around again, which is great. But if ignorance is bliss, then what does that say about knowledge and understanding? I personally have these vivid leaps of consciousness is the best way I can describe them, and they're very rarely what I would call happy memories. Things like realizing your parents aren't the perfect people you built them up to be.
Stupid ad.
Cleaning lady. Not today.
Yep.
Back in tomorrow.
I don't remember exactly when it happened for me, but yeah. Your parents are human, yep.
Learning that fairness isn't some universal, unbreakable law. Heck, the truth about success and failure are things I really only grasped after 30, and I'm sure people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond are still having aha moments of, oh, so that's how the world actually works and how I fit into it. With each leap
And I'm in my 20s and realizing all this.
of consciousness or awakening generally comes a new level of sadness. Emotions obviously have more complexity and nuance than the one shown. I was actually hoping that the adults would have dozens of emotions in their heads, but for the purposes of this kids movie, keeping it simple made sense.
I mean, I think, actually, I will say the second movie, I feel like, did clarify that by having more emotions in there. Like they kind of explained that, I guess, the other four emotions, or five if you count nostalgia, that aren't there. They're just kind of around. They're around, but they're not like in front and center. Which that's, yeah, I think that's canon now. That anxiety, ennui, embarrassment, nostalgia, and what's her name? Envy. Yeah, they're all in the parent's head. They're just like hiding out somewhere.
Existential dread or purpose-laden angst may be better names for some of what I feel, but ultimately it's a form of sadness mixed with anxiety.
Who will think of the children? Where have I heard that line before? I've heard that somewhere. I can't remember where.
I don't think my thoughts are beyond what the filmmakers were trying to convey. This moment between Riley and her mom was like an arrow to my heart upon multiple viewings.
If you and I can keep smiling, it would be a big help.
Man, what a simple but terrible thing we've all done to someone, but especially to our kids. I get that it's the basic arc of the film, but please never let me ask my children to fake an emotion to make my or my wife's life easier. Smile at presents you don't love, sure. Hold your rage when people are mean. Don't grimace at ugly babies. But goodness, we have to allow our children to express and embrace their emotions.
It's like I already knew all that, but then he said it all like that, and I'm like, holy cow, you're right. It's one of those things where I knew about it subconsciously, but I didn't like know it all. I couldn't like put it into words. Basically, is the best way to put it. Yeah, it's crazy how again she was doing that with good intentions, but she didn't realize how harmful that was, just telling Riley to be happy just because she and her husband are stressed. Yeah. Wow.
Riley's leap of consciousness, which happens concurrently with Joy's, is that embracing the pain of her once happy memories shifting to sad opens the door to new ones. Pretending everything is okay ultimately helps no one. And I know I'm being hard on the mom. Her interpretation was that Riley was happy, so she asked her to keep being happy. But you can't deny that she was so caught up with her husband's stress that she missed the warning signs of how Riley was really feeling. And then sadness being the mom's primary emotion and anger being the dad's were subtle little hints about what it is to be an adult. Not to say...
Okay, sorry, I'm thinking back to that now. I guess, yeah, we can't be too hard on the mom, because Riley was kind of like holding in the sadness she was feeling. She didn't want to tell her parents that she was feeling sad about moving. So the mom just kind of assumed that, oh, if she's happy, then she should stay that way. So it's not like she was, yeah, again, let's not be too hard on her, because Riley had some issues too, like trying to tell herself to not cry, like that they're moving away from their home in Minnesota. Yeah.
Say adults are always sad or angry. Their emotions are generally calm and work together, since for the most part adults learn to control their emotions or at least keep them in check. But
yes,
joy isn't always leading the charge as adults. And to be a well-rounded adult, all of your emotions need to work in harmony. And just to be clear, don't confuse sadness with depression. Depression is a chemical imbalance, whereas sadness is just one of the few lenses that we interpret our world through. In fact, I think they illustrate depression very well by the console turning black. No emotion can break through. Since I assume it's safe to say Riley isn't clinically depressed and is just having a hard time processing her emotions, I like that the answer to her funk is pretty much having a good cry and letting it all out. Again, a good cry is not a cure for clinical depression, where there is a chemical imbalance in the brain. But short bouts of depression can occur when you're emotionally blocked off.
But what did you learn? Or what did Yell learn? Is that what that said? Learned a lot about how humans worked. Yep. Because, yep, that's something I really appreciate about the Inside Out movies, like teaching us this is how humans work, basically. Humans are complicated beings, and our emotions are complicated, yeah.
So, what did I learn? What's the lesson, right? That's the point.
Yes.
Concerning myself, I relearned that it's not just okay to be sad, but it's good to be sad. It's great to be sad. It's an essential part of being healthy. Don't reject the sadness. Embrace it. Learn from it. In a very personal sense, this movie moves me no matter how much I dissect it. Every time I see this scene, that very familiar blend of joy and sadness that Riley experiences, it fills my eyes with tears, which in itself is a lot of what this movie is about. Specifically, as males, we're conditioned to hide our emotions, even joy to a degree. Can't get too excited or like anything too much. That's not cool.
Yeah, oh my... That feels like an attack. Because, yeah, I've had that time where somebody will bring up something I like, and I want to, like, geek out. And I'm like, no, stay calm. Stay calm. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. that felt like a stab in the chest, weirdly.
Trust me, I'm the king of not cool. But to be sad or to cry? That's showing weakness. And weakness is unmanly. You've been listening to me long enough to know
Yes.
that I don't care too much about that. I don't generally break down into tears in public, but vulnerability and being able to experience and express emotion with those you love is important. And as most men learn, a huge part of being a man and something that the women who love you will find very manly. It's an important part of growing up. This movie really gave me a visual for that, which I appreciate. More importantly, the real lesson I learned, the one that stuck to the inside of my ribcage for days after this movie ended, is that my most basic impulse as a parent, to keep my son happy all the time, is inherently flawed. It feels obvious and probably should be obvious, but it's missing a vital part of emotional maturity and being a person. Louis C.K. once said something along the lines of, "Let kids be bored." He was talking about not having a phone to look at all day. Sometimes kids and adults need to just sit and be alone with themselves. As we age, it can become increasingly more uncomfortable in our own heads. As I said, I just recently learned what success means to me. Leading up to my 30s, there was always this just over-the-horizon feeling of making it. So I was always looking ahead, excusing whatever was happening now. If I just do this one thing by this date, it'll all be good, then I'll feel successful, I'll be happy. It wasn't until I achieved, even surpassed my own personal standard of success with this channel that I realized how little it mattered to my happiness. This isn't to say don't teach your kids to strive for success. Feeling like a failure has its own crap ton of anxieties and problems that come with it. I just mistakenly thought that self-doubt and fear of the future would magically disappear when I found success. They don't.
No,
and the failure
no.
anxiety has been replaced with a whole newer, better, faster, stronger version of anxiety. And the point to all that is, of course I want to protect my son from all of that, all the bad feelings. But doing so would be a disservice. That's not to say that when he steps off the couch to fall to the hardwood floor, I should let him fall. And honestly, like I've said a few times, his emotions are a little more binary, black and white right now. But going forward, learning how to deal with heartache, failure, injustice, bullying, loneliness, anxiety, jealousy, it's all part of being a well-rounded person. And sometimes it's okay to embrace the sadness, to live in that sorrow or remorse or regret just a little. Because I can tell you from personal experience that it will reveal something new to you about yourself every time. So, it's okay to be sad? No, it's necessary to be and feel sad. Not all the time, but to try to prevent sadness is to invoke depression. And as paradoxical as it sounds, some of the happiest times you will have will be wrapped in that blue glow of sadness. Ironically enough, sadness is one of the many things that makes being human great.
It was hard to comment on that a lot because I'm hearing all that and I'm like, dang, yeah, that's
Thanks for watching and listening.
very deep.
No, this is in addition
Didn't
to a
expect
series
this
that
video to
I've
entirely go there, but I guess this is a video on
started
Inside Out. It is the kind of
So his
movie
video
where
and others inspired
you
me.
have to be thinking about
I'm
all of
really not a
this
video
because
essayist, so I
they
tried my best.
they bring up these
Go with me.
topics
And you can
and
check out
it
his
is something
video
to
and all
think
the others
about.
on the
So
playlist.
yeah, I guess I should
Really
have
good stuff. And
expected
see you all
these
next week.
really deep topics to
and
come up.
Here's a teaser. I made it
yeah.
really hard because
What?
most frames from this one are super obvious. Here's a teaser. I made it really hard because most frames from this one are super obvious.
Huh. I'm curious now. I want to look. What was that teasing? I know this video came out in 2018, so it would have been something in 2018. I'm just curious right now what that teaser frame was. Let me look. Knives Out, Avatar, Justice League, Toy Story. Yeah, I'll probably do Toy Story at some point. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Spider-Man 3? Really? No, actually, Fellowship of the Ring, because I know his Spider-Man 3 and Dark Knight videos were like re-uploads. And I'm looking at Fellowship of the Ring. Yeah, that did look more like a clip or a screenshot from that movie in the boat. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we are running long, I think. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that'll be all for now. Don't really have much else to say except, yep, Inside Out is a phenomenal movie. One of Pixar's best movies, definitely. And CinemaWins did a pretty good job analyzing it. Did make me think a lot about what it means to be human, weirdly. So didn't expect us to go there, but there we go. That'll be all for now. You probably could let me know what I'll do next for CinemaWins in the comments below, and I'll probably decide it too. I'm not sure what I'll do next. I have a few ideas, but we'll see when we get there. So that'll be all for now. Peace.